Hey Adventureland! In this episode, we're gonna take this small sledgehammer head and using a cutting wheel, we're gonna fashion it into a tiny, powerful log splitter. Check it out. What's happening, guys? So I had this idea of making this really tiny log splitter using a sledgehammer head. It's a very small sledgehammer head. And what I've done essentially here, like if you can see, it's the arrow shape here. I basically measured the length and then cut that in half, and then measured the width here at the square and cut that in half. So I've got my exact measurements as far as the position goes. I'm gonna use a cutting wheel to cut this off, and we'll have essentially a very small splitter that I can use to cut kindling and small wood. I had this other piece of metal work done. I was using this and it's great, except that I don't like a blade sticking up at all times, right? So I ended up bringing this inside just because of the kids. We don't need to impale anybody. So let's see what happens. First problem I'm having is that it's moving in I haven't fixed this thing to my table yet because I just replaced my tabletop, so give me a sec. Golly. Should have probably fixed it to the table. So if I'm being honest, I don't have a bunch of steel cutoff wheels. I've got a bunch of masonry cutoff wheels, which is no good. This thing keeps wanting to slip. Man, I should have just fixed this to the table. I just put this tabletop on here. It's 1.5 inch butcher's block that I got from my brother-in-law. Thank you, Scotty. What I've decided to do as well is go ahead and start this directional cut so that I have something to brace the blade against. Otherwise, it might be difficult to get it started if I go ahead and cut this completely off. So let's go ahead and do that. Since I love music and I want to be able to hear it later, let's go ahead and protect our ears. Check it out. All right. I took a couple of pieces off. There you have it. So this was getting in the way, right? This area that was sticking out, so I cut it off. Now I'm going to take it to the grinding wheel, get these uneven sides knocked out, and then give it a sharp knock. Look at that pretty point. So I actually tapered it hard here and here, right? It's not perfect. You notice it's not straight. It's got a bit of an angle this direction and then on the opposite side towards this direction, so that the point is a little more blunt, but it's also very sharp. And all with the grinding wheel, I didn't even use a sharpening stone. And this will give it a lot of weight. I mean, think about it, right? A bunch of weight behind it as I drive in to split small logs. So I don't have to go get my big splitter out every time I need to split something at the fire pit, you know. I wonder, my buddy Eric, who was actually on, what is it, Forged in Fire or something, anyway, one of those shows. He lives in the area, and I'm gonna ask him, like, what does he think? Should I heat this up and then douse it in oil. I might do that if he thinks it's necessary. The only thing I'm missing, besides a bath, because my face is full of metal, is a handle. So what I just did was I drilled out the hole, right? I cut this concrete nail, masonry nail, and I made the hole smaller, obviously, than the diameter of the nail as best I could. I'm gonna just bang it in place and spread the wood apart, and it should hold. So that's pretty good. Perfectly balanced. What am I talking about? It's not. But it's small. It's good for splitting small wood. Let's give it a try. Good hit. All right. Back to recording. I just broke my brand spanking new screensaver. That's great. Perfect. I do want to make a quick point. Notice that I hit the top of the splitter with another piece of wood. A wedge that is used a lot of times when splitting wood is made out of a different type of steel. It's softer and it can take the blow from a sledgehammer. You don't want to do the same thing here with this little tool. The reason is that I've heated up the metal, so I've compromised, the strength, and it could actually shatter. So that was a tip from my dad when I showed it to him and explained to him what I had done to make it. So just keep that in mind. Put your mind to it, you can do almost anything. It works great. It's small. It's probably, 8 inches or so, maybe 10, and perfect for the fire pit, perfect for, just a backpack. I'd have to build a little leather guard for the head, but I mean, man, this thing is great. I don't have to go pull that huge splitter out just to split something small. So, hope you enjoyed it. Catch you on the flip side.